Hi, everybody. My name is Kelli Walker, and joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning, we have Robert Jordan Bailey and Christopher Kriz, and we are members of the Buffalo Theater Ensemble, and we are going to give this Zoom platform a try. We have been missing so much our Buffalo Theater Ensemble family and our audience and our volunteer ushers and our friends that work at the MAC and our College of DuPage students. And just, we've been missing the communion that is doing live theater. So we thought that you might all be missing going to live theater. And so we're gonna kick off this series of Zoom meetings, conversations with ensemble members and board members and the family that is Buffalo Theater Ensemble. So, Robert, how long have you been in the ensemble? That's a trick. That's kind of a trick question. Do you know?
Gosh,
You're the long.
well, since the well, I did my first show in '92,
Wow.
but then when they actually formed the acting corps, I guess that was '97, I believe. So at that point in time.
Wow.
So, and then from then on, it was more or less a show a season. So
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
doesn't seem like
92.
that long ago.
What was that first show in 1992?
It was the Glass Menagerie, and I was the gentleman caller. And our Tom was actually played by an actor who was in his 50s, with the idea that going through all these problems or having difficulty getting over these traumas is one thing if you're in your 20s, but it's something completely different if he's still struggling with it in his 50s. So it was a great introduction to BTE. I don't really remember meeting Connie very often during that show. Craig Berger directed that show. And it was just a really great experience. And that was actually my first show in Chicago. And I thought, this is what Chicago theater is. Little did I know, like the next show I did, I was in the regular off-loop theaters where there's like 30 people in one dressing room.
Right. We're
no
so,
heat.
yes, we're so lucky to have the beautiful facility that we have.
Absolutely.
And not just the physical facility, but I think the care and sensitivity and connection and it's just a good group of people, and I think it always has been.
Absolutely. Oh, and Kriz did sound for that show.
And I was just going to say, and Kriz, were you around during that time in 1990?
I was. Yeah, I wrote the music for Glass Menagerie. I think that was my second BTE show that I designed and composed for. The first show I worked on as a carpenter was in 1988.
Oh. Well, we should clarify that Kriz is an honored alumnus of the College of DuPage, and no argument here, Kriz, and no self-deprecating, but one of the hardest working sound designers in Chicago, highly sought after, award-winning, and we're so proud of you that you came up through College of DuPage and have mentored people since then, and you work all the time. And designing a show in 1992 for Glass Menagerie, fast forward to 2020, were you designing on like bongos and a piano? Like what, because your computer system has changed exponentially since 1992. What was it like?
It's true. Yeah, that was recorded on reel-to-reel tape.
Oh my gosh!
Slicing and editing every little bit. As I recall, it was all acoustic instruments. It was piano and cello for the most part. I think that was the nuts and bolts of it. But yeah, I played the piano myself. Hired a cellist.
Gosh.
Well, we did.
And it was heavily scored, by the way. I mean, not like a conventional production. There was a lot of underscoring, so there was a lot of music, and it was beautiful. In fact, I had Kriz make me a cassette of the music that I used to listen to all the time, and then I put it on mini disc, and then my car got broken into, my mini disc player, and my mini disc got stolen. So,
Kriz, you better dig through those archives and.
That's all I've been doing during this quarantine, so I'll find those for you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess to complete the circle, my first show at BTE was Love Song with
Mm.
Brian Burke directed, and Sandy Smiley played my brother, and Bill Green, such a great friend of the program, played my husband, and it was a remarkable, it changed my life, it expanded my heart, it expanded my group of friends and colleagues, and really um, upped upped my game. I know that seems like a silly thing to say, but I'm so appreciative of that. And I was thinking about that show in preparation for this um, discussion, and I love to do it again because I don't know, Robert, if you feel this way, or Chris, if you ever feel this way with your designs, but I feel like, oh, I would be so much better now at that role than I was then, which is not maybe a healthy way of looking at it, but oh, I've grown so much since then.
Sure. There's certainly things where you think like, oh, this is that issue that part of that play was trying to address. And I didn't quite get that back then.
Right. Oh, the light bulbs that go off
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. Um, well, I want to check in, and we don't have to, we know that people are busy, and I could talk to both of you for a long time, but that's not the point of today. But I did want to check in with you personally and see how you are feeling about being away from theater. That's my number one question, is just a wellness check on you. And if you found anything that kind of fills that space. And then my follow-up question is, what do you actually miss about doing theater? So first of all, Robert, how have you been doing during this time? Have you found that, online entertainment, Netflix, does that kind of fill the void, or are you watching recorded theater?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I am watching lots of stuff on Netflix, that sort of thing. Reading has helped me a lot. I mean, I've always enjoyed reading, but in times like these, I guess it is particularly useful. Um, it has really certainly been odd. I mean, part of me, I've always been a little bit of a, not, I can't think of the right word, but I'm a homebody. I mean, I really enjoy being at home. So working from home, that sort of thing has all been not so bad. But as far as what I miss in the theater, it is that communion, that just the being able to tell stories that way. There's a moment, for whatever reason, it stuck with me so much in Mullingar, which we did together, just towards the end of that show, and there were so many like moments and pauses that I can remember at least one night thinking, that we had them, the feeling of that the audience is just like hanging on what you're going to say next, and they don't know where things are going to go. And just the almost the intoxicating feel of, being involved in a storytelling that people are, getting so involved with.
Robert, that's so beautifully said. It's that energy that is almost palpable in, and of course, actors, we maybe know this moment is coming. We shouldn't anticipate it, of course, but if you're if you're preparing to do a big reveal or set up a big punchline, and there's that just, it's hard to even describe, but yeah, fills your heart. And it illustrates, and I think audience members sometimes don't give themselves enough credit for how important a role they play in theater.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an audience that's just with you in the show, and it's a great feeling.
Well, we've all had those times, where we're out there and somebody on the front row is looking through the program, while you're like 2 feet away. You want to reach out and say, yeah, that's me right there. Yeah. So eyes up here.
You're going to want to hear this part of the story. Chris, how have you been doing? Because your livelihood is so tied to being in a room with other people and creating.
That's true. Yeah, that's how I make my living. So, I've been not in a theater at all, and that's been hard. But at first I thought Oh, I was excited about having some time at home to be creative and write some music, work on unfinished projects and things like that. And a trend that I find is true of a lot of my creative friends and colleagues is that it's been hard to do that. It's like the inspiration is not there. So I haven't written any music really, a little bit, but what I have done is dug into archive stuff and sort of digitizing old files and just cleaning house in a lot of ways, which has been therapeutic and nice walk down memory lane and quite a sentimental journey actually. So that's filled a little bit of the void.
In some ways, it's got to be a little bit of a luxury to suddenly have time for you, because because Kelli was not kidding when she talked about how busy you stay. I mean, I can't imagine you normally have much downtime at all when you're working, on so many projects at once.
Yeah, it's true. Mondays are sacred, but yeah. But we do what we can. We're all making this up. We're all still making this up, even 6 months in. And who knows what, how long this is going to stay this way. So we've got to find ways like this. Thank you very much, to stay connected and stay interested and active.
I think it's a-okay not to. I mean, you don't need to hear this from me, Chris, but I think creative folks and artists might be beating themselves up for not being able to, like, thinking, oh, I have all this time, I should be writing the great play or the great American novel or composing it. We are dealing one day at a time with a situation that we've never dealt with before. So I think we should allow ourselves some grace. And if you want to listen to Prince every day with a little David Bowie mixed in, I think that's a good way to spend your day.
You've been spying on me.
Have you discovered any or rediscovered any musicians that, like, this time?
What have I dug into lately? Yeah, I've actually been listening to a lot more music.
Yeah.
Just in general. Probably more in the last 6 months than I have in the last couple of years, which has been nice. So just going through the whole catalog, and I haven't found too much new stuff though. I've got a big collection, so it takes a while to get through.
Yeah. Nice.
Robert, what are you listening to?
Oh gosh, I've been listening probably more to podcasts, or I used to listen to lots of music, but it seems like it's. I would be embarrassed to say the sort of things that I listen to. My music taste is not the greatest, as I was told, even in college. But yeah. So, I mean, I like podcasts. I like books on tape, that sort of thing. I've been for a while. I was trying to walk every day because, with the gyms closed, the fitness room in my building is closed, and it's just hard to get any sort of exercise. So I was doing a lot of walking, and that's why I was able to listen to a lot of podcasts. Oh, there's a really great new podcast. It's like Jason Bateman and Will Arnett and Sean Hayes. They do it, and each week they have a different guest, and only one of them knows who the guest is going to be. And it's usually been comedians, but it's really interesting and fun. Smart Less, I think, is what it's called.
Thanks for the recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gosh, I miss all of you so much, and I think what I miss, I like to get in. I don't know that I consciously do it, but every show to me has a certain pattern, a certain rhythm, and I guess I'm a creature of habit, even though I'm creative. But I just miss the ritual of driving to the theater, thinking about the show in my head, running lines in the car, getting to the MAC, like walking into the MAC, saying hi to the amazing ushers, stopping at the box office, walking down the back hallway, seeing what students are in the rehearsal rooms, signing in on our call board. If I were doing a show with Robert, you might have a little hot tea going in the dressing room. And I sort of love that we have a bit of an earlier call there. I mean, most, if you're doing a show in Chicago, sometimes a half-hour call, like if the show is at 8, you don't necessarily have to be at the theater until 7:30, but I think most of us get there for 7 o'clock call for an 8 o'clock show. So there's plenty of time to walk out on stage. And I love that moment in a theater where the stage manager is sort of running through the cues and the sound cues before the audience gets in. It seems kind of, there's something spiritual and special about that quiet moment. But then you go back to your dressing room, and at the MAC, we have these, well, the sound system allows you to hear from the dressing room what's going on in the audience. So Robert, you're smiling, and Chris, you probably know what I'm gonna say, but at half hour or whenever the house opens, you can start to hear the audience talking. So you'll be in the dressing room getting ready, but then you hear this background noise of the audience. And there's just something thrilling about that space, like hearing those people that are going to be participating in our show in half an hour. I love that. Yeah. And
We'll do it again soon.
we will do it again soon. Thank you so much. Thanks to Connie Kennedy Howard, our amazing artistic director, and to our board of directors for supporting us through this unprecedented time. We are already thinking about our 35th season, which would be 21-22. And we hope to have these sort of gatherings with different folks from the ensemble and board of directors and our audience throughout the next couple months. So Chris and Robert, thank you so much for being our inaugural guests, and please take care of yourselves.
You too.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye.
Bye, Robert.